15,000 books have been written on this topic, and it's a $50 billion market. Executives travel halfway across the world to equip themselves in these skills in the best business schools, and I have done that too. And organizations place so much importance in developing this skill. Any guesses what I'm talking about? Leadership. But what if I told you that there is this amazing, incredible leadership program close to most of our homes, shaping us and making us into versatile leaders every day? And the best part, it's absolutely free. Would you be interested to know more about this? Yes. Wow, that's good. We all love free things, right? For a minute, let's stop and think about a leader. So when I say leader, what kind of image comes into your mind? Just think about it. When I typed this in a search engine, this was the kind of images that were showing up. It was someone out there trying to show up, leading, trying to create an impact, and having followers. The other kind of images that showed up were someone in a corporate suit, usually a guy, not a girl, saying, "Follow me," out there trying to create an impact. So while in my growing up years, when I was told that you should grow up, aspire to be a leader, this is the kind of image that got stuck in my head. In my early years, when I was a little girl, being a leader meant, that person who decides which game you play in the evening playtime. In my teenage years in school, it was being the school captain. And when I started my journey in the corporate life, it was that. The person who sits on the top of the corporate ladder, the chief executive officer. So I decided, yes, this is my leadership destination. I want to become the chief executive officer. So I started working towards it. I used to tell my friends that I'm not going to let anything come in the way of my leadership journey. No marriage, and definitely no kids. It's not that I didn't like children, but what happened was, in my mind, I had somewhere assumed that being a parent is going to slow me, weigh me down, and take my focus away from that leadership destination that I had in my mind. But life always throws a lot of interesting surprises on us. A few years later, I did get married, and at a very interesting phase in my career, I got to know I was going to become a mom. I was super excited, but I must admit, I had mixed feelings. On one hand, I was very excited about this whole new experience, and on the other hand, I was anxious. And I had this million-dollar question running in my mind, like most women think. Is this going to slow me down? Do I have to choose either or between parenting and a career? Or can I have both and more? Now, I had to think long and hard before making my choice. I told myself, and I made a conscious choice, and I said, I'm going to choose both and more. I'm going to try to make both of this work together. So a few days after my son was born in the year 2007, I started penning down this article. I told myself, I really don't know if I'm going to become the chief executive officer at some point in time, but I can definitely become the chief parenting officer. So I gave myself, I didn't have to wait for anyone to give me this designation. So I gave myself this fancy designation of being the chief parenting officer. And that's when my lifetime leadership role began of being a chief parenting officer. I started penning down this article, put in a few thoughts, saved the file, and put it away. I never really got beyond writing the first 4 or 5 lines. Years passed by, and I was trying to juggle my corporate life with my role as a parent. My family was very supportive, but I somehow thought this parenting was my primary responsibility. I had to run around and get things done. I had to do everything. And at some point, it was totally tiring me out. And on one of those tired days, when I was looking up through some old files, I stumbled upon this article that I had started writing 10 years back with just 4 lines typed on it, saying my lifetime leadership role as Chief Parenting Officer. I stopped, read through the few lines, and asked myself, I had promised that this was going to be my lifetime leadership role. So when I reflected, it dawned on me that what I was today as a corporate leader was something that my role as a parent and my child had developed in me. Actually, it was that experience as a parent and as a mom that had made me this successful corporate leader that I was. So I would like to share with you few lessons that came to my mind that I learned as being a Chief Parenting Officer. Lesson number 1, negotiation. How many of you have tried to make a child wear what you like and they don't? And even better, how many of you have tried to feed them something which is healthy while they are young? That's an image of my son when he was a year old. I was trying to feed him an apple, but he wanted to eat that rotten tomato. I definitely failed that day for negotiation because he just decided to do what he wanted to do. But that taught me a very interesting lesson, which helped me transition those lessons into my workplace. When you're thinking as a parent, when you're negotiating, you are always thinking win-win and not just to win, because you're concerned about the interest of both parties. This thinking had somehow integrated itself into my leadership style, and I was able to think of every conversation at work as win-win. Lesson number 2, collaboration. You've all watched Tom and Jerry during your growing up days. Tom and Jerry are always trying to get at each other. But at the end of the episode, it's always friendship that prevails. Me and my son are a lot like that. Some of our arguments, I'm not exaggerating here, some of our arguments are like mini world wars. Till I became a mom, I never realized that you could actually love and hate a person so much at the same time. But one hug is all it takes to get us back on track. And this taught me a very valuable lesson. I was able to take this unconditional trust and love and emotion into my workplace. I started looking at my teams and dealing with my colleagues in the same way I was dealing with my son at home. In an instant, the attitude of competition disappeared and it was collaboration. It was trying to make things work together. I could put down the baggage of opinions that we usually carry in our head about our peers and our colleagues, and I could just work with them and collaborate with them to get great results. So that's another great mommy skill that I learned. Lesson number 3, sustainability. Now, as a parent, it is inevitable to think long term. You're always thinking 25 years ahead. You want to save up, you want to make sure that they grow up and have enough funds to fund for their college, your school, their grandchildren. You're always thinking 25, 30, 50 years ahead. Now, where this helped me was, till then, the messages on save the planet and sustainability were, making sense to me, but I really didn't understand how I can contribute to it. But the minute I became a parent, all these messages were ringing a different bell. In the earlier years of my career, I was a marketing professional, marketing people and companies to consume more, buy more. And as I became a parent, I realized that this consume more attitude ain't going to work anymore. And today, I was able to switch careers to become a sustainability professional. And today, I don't do buy more campaigns, but I do reduce, reuse, and recycle campaigns as a waste management professional. It taught me a skill of thinking sustainable in every aspect of life. I never thought I'd be so excited as a family to look at an onion. Now that's an onion which we have grown in our home in Dubai using the compost from the food waste. I would have never imagined growing an onion in my home and being so excited about that. So sustainability became a way of thinking. It was just not a fancy term anymore. It was something I wanted to do. And that came from the simple, selfish parental concern to just create a better world for my child to grow and live up in. Now, as I reflected upon these lessons, I was asking myself, am I holding his hand or is he holding mine? Am I leading him or he leading me? And this gave me, a lot of profound thinking. I was asking myself, 10 years, the first 10 years, why was I not able to absorb these lessons? Why was I so switched off? And I realized that it was because I was only focusing on the responsibility aspect of the relationship. I was not allowing myself to learn from this journey and learn from this experience. Now, how many of you in your roles as parents or primary caregivers caught yourself saying, hey, do it this way, do it that way, no, I want you to do this way? Yeah, we say that, but I see a lot of nodding heads in the audience. But we don't realize, but we do that unknowingly because you think you are in control, you need to guide them, you need to lead them. But what I realized was the hack for getting the most out of this relationship is to just shut up and open your eyes and ears. So the hack that worked for me and that may work for you is observe, absorb, and reflect. Now this is something which I have learned to practice, and try it out in your homes. A few minutes in a day or in a particular day in the week, I do not guide and control my son. I just watch him do stuff. I watch him meddle around with stuff. I allow him to speak to me and challenge me. And I let go of that parental urge of guiding him and telling him what to do. And the lessons I have learned from that are amazing. It's not a standard list of learnings, but if you try it, you will find your key takeaways, things that make sense to you. And once you do that, you will see that this beautiful relationship that we think is something that we have to give into has a lot more to give into us. So when you do that one, you will realize that it's not about responsibility. Our primary role is not to make our kids get A grades, not to put them in 10 different activities, football, music, dance, piano, and get them to excel in everything. It's not about making them fit into a perfect definition of what the world wants them to be. It's about just letting go and enjoying the journey. A lot of magazines and business articles talk about the skills of leadership, empathy, patience. Isn't this what our parenting roles give us? But you may ask a question, who else can be the chief parenting officer? Is it just the mom? No. My husband, who's sitting out there in Dubai and helping my son prepare for his exams, is also a chief parenting officer. The lovely Cretan women, the village ladies who were up here, they are chief parenting officers. You as an aunt and an uncle, as a caregiver, as a grandparent, each of you are a chief parenting officer. You are parents to your teams in offices. You have pets that you groom at home. It's that quality of caregiving and being able to learn your leadership lessons from that. So it's not just about moms. It's about everyone at home who's involved in this role. There are so many of us out there parenting and not knowing that we are actually doing a chief parenting officer role. It's a leadership role in itself. So just enjoy that, wear proudly your CPO badge, and allow itself to teach you the best leadership lessons, because after all, it's a free MBA that you have closer to your home. Thank you so much.